Hello, welcome back to the Visible Audit. This channel exists for one reason only, to help business owners stop losing customers to competitors already dominating page one on Google before the conversation even begins. See, most businesses do not have a service problem. They have a visibility problem. If buyers cannot find you when they are actively searching for your services, Google is simply handing those customers to someone else. So on this channel, we do live website audits and real Google searches to expose the visibility leaks, conversion leaks, and ranking opportunities most business owners never even realize are costing them leads. Here's how the process works. First, we randomly choose a local business niche. Then we randomly choose a state. After that, we perform a live Google search exactly like a real customer would. However, we use keywords everywhere to identify the actual high-intent search phrases buyers are typing into Google when they are ready to hire or purchase. Then we usually look for businesses sitting around page 2 of Google because these companies are often very close to major growth but are still invisible to most buyers. From there, we break down what they are doing right, what is hurting their rankings, what competitors are doing better, how their homepage could convert more visitors into actual leads, and what simple enhancements could help improve both visibility and conversion performance. Now, in these public audits, we usually focus mostly on the homepage for educational purposes. But in a full website monetization review, we would analyze the entire site structure: service pages, metadata, conversion flow, authority positioning, keyword targeting, and overall search footprint. The goal is simple: help businesses build page one visibility so competitors stop intercepting buyers online. So let's spin the wheel, choose today's niche, and see which business we're auditing today. And if you're a business owner watching this and want a website monetization review for your own company, check the link in the description down below. The Visible Audit, this local SEO audit, we are going to find a new niche and we're going to see where we're going. Let's spin the wheel here and see what we got. Ooh, excavation contractor. All right, let's look for a location. Maryland. All right, let's go to Google. So we're going to start off with just a basic search: excavation contractor, Maryland. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look for the actual phrase that we should be targeting, because excavation contractor, Maryland doesn't have any actual buyer volume and no one's paying any cost per click for it. So that's not the right phrase. So we're going to use keywords everywhere to find the right phrase to target. Let's see here. Excavation. Whoops. We're just going to look for what we can find. Now, this excavation Maryland only has 10 searches a month, so it's probably not going to be the right phrase for us to target. Excavating companies we might want to go after. So let's try excavating companies in Maryland. Okay, let's see if that has any search. That has 30 searches a month, but still nobody paying for ads. And it's very important that when you do search engine optimization, you target only phrases that have actual volume, as well as actual cost per click, because that would represent that if you rank page one organically, you're going to get leads, not just people searching for information. So let's go down here, see if there's anything we can find. Let's see, utility companies. Doesn't look like there's much, honestly, for excavating company. There's Frederick, MD. This is a city within Maryland, but it doesn't have any search at all. So I'm trying to narrow it down to something that actually shows search. So we're gonna just keep on trying here. Let's see here. So nothing there. There's really nothing. I think we're going to have to choose an entirely new industry and um, a new search because it's coming up with nothing. So let's go back to the board here. So sometimes when I do these local SEO audits, I can't find real high buyer intent key phrases, and when that happens, we have to choose a new, an entirely new niche to target. So I'm going to bring the window down here so you can see. Let's go ahead and search again for a new industry. Deck builder. Okay, let's start there, and then let's go find a location. So deck builder in Ohio. All right, let's go to Google. Let's run a basic search first. Deck builder Ohio. And we'll start there. So that's not the right phrase for us to target. Let's go down here, see if there's anything going on. Oh, deck builder Cleveland. Okay, now let's type OH because anyone who types out, here we go. Anyone who types out 4, 5, 6, 7 words at a time with a location involved, these are extremely motivated buyers. Okay, so deck builders, Cleveland, Ohio. 210 searches a month. Advertisers are spending $4.20. You know, if I were to click on these, you know, sponsored deck builders, if I clicked on them, they would pay $4.20. Okay, so nobody's going to pay $4 a click with no guarantee of a lead unless they are actually, in fact, getting quality leads. The higher the bid, the higher representation that they're getting qualified leads. So this is the right phrase for us to target. We're not going to go off page 1 because these guys get all the traffic already. But we are going to go to page 2 because these businesses are on the verge of major growth. They're just very invisible to most buyers. Most buyers, if they don't find what they're looking for on page 1, they just type out a new phrase and they go again. So let's look here. Hemodex. Okay, so here we go. So right off the bat, I can tell these guys do not have meta anything. They don't have any search engine optimization. And that's why they're on page 2. But all they'd have to do is change their meta title right off the bat to saying, you know, Hemodex, then put a wall, not a colon, and then put, you know, Deck Builders, Cleveland, Ohio, then another wall and put deck and patio construction. That's it. Then they would put a meta description saying, licensed, insured, and trusted deck builders in Cleveland, Ohio. We handle design, permits, and expert installation for custom decks, stamped concrete patios, and more, period. That's it. That's all they'd have to put. So that would immediately tell Google that they're optimized for this city and for this high buyer intent phrase. And now we go into their website to see what they got going on. Okay, so right off the bat, I do want to commend them for having a home tab. That's very, very important. Always have a home tab because people come into your website from all different, you know, pages, location pages, service pages, and when they get the fill that they are looking for, they always go to the home page to take action. And most people don't know they can click your logo to go to the home page. They look for a home tab, so that's very important. I'm glad they have that. Their buttons, I see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to match the color of their website to their actual Hemodex logo color, but that's not correct. What you should do is have an orange background with white writing. If they just made it an orange background with white writing, they'd get 30% more click-through rate. Get your free estimate is fine, but it'd be better to just put get a free estimate. I love that they use the word get because get is the #1 call to action on the internet. But if they don't put get your free estimate, put get a free estimate. Okay, so that would actually make the conversions higher. Right down here, they're slamming all of their stuff to the left, and that's not proper usage of the header. It needs to be centered. Okay, and it needs to say, rated. It should say rated #1 pound and the one number. So rated #1 for deck builders in Cleveland, Ohio. Then under that, they could put a small subheadline that says Northeast Ohio's leading deck and stamped concrete patio builders. Then under that, they could have a small thing that says this, or they could just eliminate this altogether, and then just have a button that says get a free estimate. And then, they could have this under that. That's fine. But it should all be centered if they want higher conversions. Coming down here, this should say professional deck builders in Cleveland, Ohio, offering deck building and outdoor living services throughout Northeast Ohio. That's what it should say in this headline. Coming down here, okay, so it's okay to say view deck projects, view pergola, view outdoor projects, but they need to be orange background with white writing. So change this dark brown to a light orange. It needs to be orange background. Okay. Other than that, it actually is a really good site. I like it. I like how they show themselves. They talk a little bit about themselves, but not too much. Again, orange background, white writing, get a free estimate or get a free estimate now. People want to be led. So think about how to lead the person. You don't say get your free estimate. You say get a free estimate now. That would represent empowerment to the user as well as leading them down a path. Okay. Down here, I would put why choose Hema Decks as for your deck builders in Cleveland, Ohio. That's what I would put so that it constantly flows. You have to constantly match what the person just typed in and got to your site from. That represents to the buyers that you understand them. Okay, it gets people leaning in. I love that they created this 1 through 6 kind of. This is really good. Scrolling down again, down here it should say professional deck builders in Cleveland, Ohio, offering deck and patio installation. That's all it should say right in here. Okay, and then again, each one of their images needs to be, have an alt tag, and an alt tag that says, deck builders in Cleveland, Ohio, and different variances of that. Okay. And again, down here is instead of see why we're Northeast Ohio's top-rated deck and patio contractor, I would say see why we're Northeast Ohio's top-rated deck builders in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, or see why we're rated number 1 as deck builders in Cleveland, Ohio, something like that. You have to constantly keep the flow of the key phrase that high-intent buyers are searching for. And then down here, I would make this one sentence, get a free estimate now. Never make it drop down like that, creating a huge button. That's tacky. Orange background, white writing. Again, anywhere where there's a headline, it needs to include the primary key phrase. It used to be you could have the key phrase within the actual body content, and Google cared about that, but now they really just care about headlines because they know that most users just scan websites. They don't actually read all the content. But if the headlines are constantly saying what they just typed out, the person knows that they're in the right place and they know that this company understands them. And usually when you build trust with a user before you've ever talked to them, that's the fastest way to get someone to convert into a lead. So again, get your free deck consultation. I would put get a free deck consultation now. Orange background, white writing, and make that lead to the proper page. Overall, and I really want to commend them for having the copyright 2026 and the all rights reserved so no one can steal their content legally. I mean, people can always steal content, but this is the legal stuff that you need to have at the bottom of your site. So that's really good. They should make their privacy policy terms and conditions blue and underlined so people know that these are actual links they can click on. Other than that, I would say just off first glance at this website, I rated a 7 out of 10. It only needs, some minor touch-ups and it can start converting right away as well as reach page 1 of Google. So this is just a basic website monetization review. When I work with a client, I go through their whole entire website head to toe. We get every single page leading people to the number 1 call to action. And then we optimize to rank page 1. So again, if you have a website that's similar to this, please take my advice to enhance your site so you can stop competitors from stealing your customers before the conversation even begins. And again, if you would like a free website monetization review of your site, see the link down below in the description. Thank you for watching the Visible Audit. I will be back again with more. Cheers.